The story begins with a scene of a farm under attack. Everything is on fire, and 3 orcs are killing everyone there. They are delighted with what they are doing and say that if they find any humans still alive, they will kill them. At that moment, a young man appears, our hero, Asahi, who introduces himself as an adventurer. Upon hearing this, the orcs laugh and mock him, saying that he won't be able to do anything to them. However, Asahi calmly says that attacking the farm was not a wise decision, as this would be their last day alive. One of the orcs charges at Asahi, but before he can get close, the ground turns to stone and impales the orc. A girl appears, who turns out to be Asahi's sister, and with immense power, she destroys the orc. The story then flashes back to Asahi's past life to explain what happened. At that time, Asahi was walking and saved a young girl from a car accident, but he was hit instead and died. As a spirit, he was frustrated because the game he'd been eagerly waiting for had not been released yet, so he never had the chance to play it. He also wondered, how will people react to my death? And thought of his sister, Maya. Suddenly, a portal appeared in front of him and took him to a new world, where there was a large castle and a giant dragon. As he wandered through the area, it felt like medieval Europe and reminded him of a game he once played. He quickly realized he was now inside a game and excitedly exclaimed, "I've finally been reborn." The people around him looked at him as if he were crazy, and he tried to use his phone to take a picture, but of course, there was no signal. He then thought he needed to act quickly to make money. Like in a game, he went to a shop and sold his phone for 500 coins. There, he found armor and weapons he could buy. He purchased clothes and a sword and was shocked to realize he was holding a real sword. After that, he went to a place called the Adventurers Guild, where he could take on quests. The girl in charge of registration asked if he was looking for a mission, and Asahi said it was his first time. She then offered to help him learn the basics. She gave him a form to fill out his name and picked an easy mission for him, hunting killer rabbits. It was supposed to be a simple task, but when Asahi stepped outside, he was confronted by a giant dragon. He started running, thinking, this stupid game, why is there a dragon? He tried to dodge the dragon's fire, opened the skill window, but found no abilities except for throwing rocks. His stats were also very weak. When he tried to throw a rock, it barely traveled a meter. The dragon was about to kill him, and Asahi thought of his sister. He kept calling out to Maya loudly, and suddenly, a portal opened in the sky. Maya appeared, and the dragon attacked her with fire, but she was completely unharmed. Witnessing her immense strength, Maya defeated the dragon with a single strike. Asahi asked how she managed to get here, but Maya hugged him and said, "I've missed you so much." We then learn that Maya deeply loves her younger brother and would do anything for him, even sacrifice her life. Maya explained that after the accident, Asahi fell into a coma, and while he was in the hospital, he started talking about another world and seemed to be enjoying it. So Maya thought that if she hit her head against the wall, she might be able to enter the same world as Asahi. Asahi said, "You're crazy, what kind of sacrifice is that?" But then he realized that Maya had said she was in a coma, not dead, and asked her, "I'm happy here, but are we going back to our world?" Maya fell silent and said, "Yeah, I agree. But how?" Asahi then replied, "I mean, you followed me here without knowing how to return." Maya responded, "I thought we could start a new life here." We return to the beginning of the story, where Maya finishes off the last orc. Asahi thought Maya must have been thinking about the dead villagers, but Maya innocently said, "They called you a coward, how could I let them live?" The villagers thought Asahi was the one who killed the monsters, and he was hailed as the village hero. He returned to the guild, and the receptionist girl informed him that he had ranked up, from hunting rabbits to killing monsters. She gave Asahi a badge, a form of identification to let people know his power level. She also mentioned that the badge should not be sold or given to anyone. Asahi innocently said, "Sell it." Oh my, who would do that? While secretly thinking about what he could do with the money if he sold it. Asahi felt weak and knew this was punishment for killing, but he didn't worry about it when he was with Maya. Right. Actually, soon he would run because it was his sister who killed the monsters, not him. He was still weak and ran toward Maya, asking, "Please lower your power, let me appear strong." Maya agreed and revealed her stats, which were enormous and powerful. She told him not to show her stats to anyone because it was their secret. At that moment, they heard people cheering, calling someone Sama, a knight who led his team, and they begged him to defeat the Demon King for them because all their hopes rested on him. Someone in the crowd mentioned that they were the strongest clan called Balaman, and this was a farewell party before they went to defeat the Demon King, the main leader. Asahi understood that to return to his world, he would have to defeat the Demon King, but it wasn't as easy as it seemed. Despite having a high rank, experience was also needed. we learned that the knight named Sama was a dragon slayer. Meanwhile, someone in the tavern was drunk and began wrecking the place, saying that Sama wasn't really strong. People started running and said that someone needed a ghoul rank to defeat him, then pointed at Asahi, who was the talk of the town for reaching a high rank without completing any missions. A little girl begged him, "Please save my father," and people started cheering, calling Asahi's name. He nearly fainted from the pressure, fearing people would find out he was actually weak. The man then challenged Asahi, calling him a coward. Maya, feeling angry, wanted to kill the man, but Asahi calmed her, saying, "Calm down, Maya. You can't use your powers against humans." They finally agreed that Asahi would stand in front while Maya used her powers to crack the ground. Their plan worked, and the man was terrified, apologizing and running away. The locals started cheering Asahi's name. Then, he walked with his sister, wondering what awaited him in this world. The next day, Asahi was seen fighting a level 2 slime and barely managed to defeat it. Maya arrived and used a fire attack to kill all the slimes at once. Poor Asahi, it seemed like Maya would frustrate him. Meanwhile, we see the Balaman clan defeated, unable to continue the fight against the main leader. There was one very powerful girl, the only one fighting against them. The next day, Asahi decided that he couldn't keep relying on Maya and resolved to train. He left without telling Maya, leaving a message that he went for a short walk and headed to the guild to take on a mission. There were 2 available ghoul-ranked missions, killing a giant troll or obtaining a Vrin egg, both with high difficulty levels. Asahi asked if there was an easier mission, and the guild officer jokingly asked if he was looking for a mission for a rabbit. Embarrassed, Asahi replied, "Yes, I want to feel the thrill like it's my first time." The guild officer offered him a beginner's mission of gathering mushrooms in the Claudio forest. Asahi gladly accepted and went off to collect mushrooms. However, while he was working, he saw a warning sign about bears in the area. Asahi muttered to himself, "Surely the bear won't show up now," but suddenly a bear appeared behind him. Asahi started running and tried throwing mushrooms at the bear, but the bear just ate them. At that moment, a magic attack hit the bear, causing Asahi to fall onto someone. At first, he thought it was Maya, but it turned out to be the girl who had defeated the Sama Knights. There were a few more bears around them, but the girl protected him and killed all the bears. She explained that she was testing her strength on the bears. Then, the leader of the bears, the Bear Emperor, appeared, who could even talk. The Bear Emperor said, "You again. You're killing our own kind." And Asahi desperately said, "I just came here to gather mushrooms. Why am I involved in all this?" The bear attacked the girl with a fireball, but she protected herself and Asahi by creating a shield. She said, "Since you call me your sister, I have to protect you, little brother," then attacked the bear with red flames and defeated it with a single blow. Asahi asked her, "Who are you? Are you a demon?" But she replied that she was one of the 6 generals of the Demon King, and her name was Maria. Asahi heard this and almost fainted from fear, but Maria reassured him that she wasn't interested in weaklings, so she wouldn't harm him. Maria then asked if he knew an adventurer named Asahi, who was said to have defeated an orc and a dragon with a single strike. Maria said she had to kill Asahi. Asahi tried to run away quickly, but an orc charm fell out of his pocket. Maria picked it up and read Asahi's name on it, then said, "You're Asahi," and prepared to attack him. However, Maya sensed that Asahi was in danger and rushed to him. Maria said to Asahi, "Why are you running? Come and fight me to the death." Before Maria could touch Asahi, Maya arrived and manipulated the earth, creating a barrier to protect Asahi. Maria then said, "You want to get involved in this fight by killing me." Asahi and Maya started bickering. Maya said, "Who are you to attack this kid just because he's handsome?" Maria replied, "I want to kill him, what are you talking about?" They began fighting, and Maya's power was almost equal to Maria's. Maria eventually realized that Asahi's fame was the result of his sister's achievements, and she was happy to have finally found an opponent equal to her. A great battle ensued. Maya managed to hit Maria, but Maria countered with a terrifying fire attack. Maya deflected it with a whirlwind and knocked Maria down. Maria admitted defeat and asked for Maya's name, then said, "Now just kill me." But Asahi ran up and said, "Wait, don't." Maya responded, "Oh, you're sneaky. You want to make the final strike to get points." Asahi replied, "That's not the reason. Maria once saved me from a monster." Maria chimed in, "Are you serious about defending me?" In the end, Maya listened to Asahi and let Maria go. The next day, Asahi reached level 10 and noted that he hadn't gained experience from his sister's defeat of those monsters. Points were only awarded for the damage he inflicted, so he had to attack on his own. Maya suggested that he capture monsters and let Asahi attack them, or even attack him directly because of his great power. But Asahi refused because he thought it was cheating. He wanted to enjoy the game and level up slowly. Asahi unlocked a new skill, the ability to escape from enemies if captured. He returned to the guild and saw several groups he could join, but most required a strong fighter. The guild secretary, Tanya, asked if Asahi had companions or fought alone. She also suggested that Asahi either form his own group or join a strong team called Palamon, which consisted of Gordon, who possessed great strength, Nemo, a mage who could use all types of magic, including healing, Hasho, an archer who attacked from a distance, and Sema, a close-range fighter. Asahi asked where they were now, and Tanya responded that they were on a journey to the Demon King but had returned after losing to a very strong enemy. Asahi left the guild, contemplating joining a group, but he was still worried about Maya's fate. As he walked, he saw a group of young men harassing a drunk man for money. Though Asahi didn't want to get involved, he couldn't help himself and threw a rock at them, telling the drunk man to run. When they attacked Asahi, the man suddenly got up and defeated them all. It turned out that the man was Sema. Asahi offered him water and asked what had happened. Sema explained that he and his group were defeated by a very strong demon, which shattered his confidence. Asahi tried to comfort him, saying that at least they fought together and protected each other. Asahi returned to the guild to look for a group, but Tanya gave him an urgent task, to defeat a group of wyverns attacking a nearby village. All the high-ranking adventurers were away, leaving only Asahi. Since Asahi had defeated wyverns before, Tanya quickly sent him to the village by carriage. Once there, Asahi was attacked by 3 wyverns but was saved just in time by Maria's magic attack, who had come to deliver his adventurer's scarf. As more wyverns appeared, Maya arrived just in time and killed them. Maria challenged Maya to fight again, but Maya ignored her and took Asahi away. Maria yelled, "I'm talking to you here, let's fight." Maya asked, "Why should I fight you?" Maria thought for a moment and replied, "There's no real reason, I just want to see who's stronger." Maria then grabbed Asahi as if to kidnap him, telling him to pretend to be dead so Maya would come to his rescue. However, before she could finish her sentence, Maya smacked Maria hard on the head, giving her a concussion. They began fighting again, while Asahi was grabbed by a wyvern and flown away. At the same time, the 2 girls worked together to save Asahi. Maya chased the wyvern, and Maria managed to save Asahi before he fell. Maria was surprised that Maya trusted her to hold Asahi, and Asahi realized that the 2 were actually very similar and could be friends. Afterward, Maria left, and Asahi returned home with Maya. The next day, Asahi went back to the guild, but he had run out of money to pay for his lodging. He asked Tanya if there was another mission with a large reward. Tanya replied that there was a mission from a wealthy family offering a huge reward, a house. Asahi was thrilled since one of his dreams was to have his own home. He agreed, and Bella smiled. He felt something was off about her smile, and the task was to banish an evil spirit. Asahi was shocked and pitied, and he quickly ran to Maya, trying to convince her that there were no ghosts, and that Bella was probably exaggerating. However, Maya said, "Don't forget, we're in a different world, and things that seem illogical might actually be real." That night, they were on their way back. Asahi tightly held his sister's hand because he was afraid of ghosts. When they arrived at the house, which looked terrifying, Asahi felt his energy drain when he touched the door. He quickly pulled back. It turned out there was an evil spirit inside the house, which had the ability to absorb life energy. The spirit told them, "Leave this place if you value your lives." Maya tried to open the door, and although the spirit attempted to drain her strength, Maya successfully opened the door. Once they entered, they no longer felt the spirit's presence. Maya wondered if the spirit had left peacefully after what happened at the door. They began searching the house, but suddenly a chair moved and hit Asahi. Maya quickly ran over to give him a healing potion. After that, some plates flew and hit Asahi again, but Maya immediately gave him another potion. At that moment, Maya shouted at the spirit, "Enough with these cowardly attacks. Show yourself." The spirit appeared and attacked them, but Maya stopped its attack, leaving the spirit in shock. The spirit then possessed Maya's body because she was very strong. Asahi grew worried, saying, "This is a big problem. If Maya's power falls into the enemy's hands, the whole world will be destroyed." The spirit approached Asahi, who didn't know what to do. He began talking to his sister, trying to bring her to her senses. Suddenly, the door opened, and Kana entered, and they began arguing. Asahi explained what had happened, and Kana started using her abilities. However, Asahi said, "Calm down, Auntie, don't fight inside the house. We don't want this house to be destroyed." They decided to settle things with a wrestling match. Kana said that if she lost, Maya's confidence would crumble, and the spirit would leave her body. The match began with tremendous power, almost destroying the house. Neither could win because their strengths were evenly matched, but eventually Maya won. Asahi tried to provoke the spirit, saying, "You will not take my sister's body. I won't allow it." These words made Maya come to her senses, and she started fighting the spirit. It turned out that Maya had been pretending all along, and the spirit was actually very weak. Maya said, "I just wanted to see what you would do. But when I saw how afraid you were for me, I decided to end it." Afterward, they went to the guild to claim their reward. However, they realized there was a girl lying inside the house. Kana finally snapped out of it and didn't find anyone when she called for them. Then, they saw the house they had received as a reward, and Asahi said, "Finally, my sister and I succeeded." The next day, Asahi was talking to Kana, who said that there was an entrance in the forest that connected to the dungeon mazes, and Asahi's task was to explore it. Asahi set off toward the dungeon mazes without Maya because he wanted to level up. However, Maya secretly followed him, feeling betrayed, and said, "You're going on an adventure without me, you coward." In the end, Asahi was forced to bring her along. They entered the dungeon mazes, and Maya asked, "What are the dungeon mazes?" As an experienced player, Asahi explained that the dungeon mazes were a place adventurers loved, full of labyrinths and traps. At the end, they would encounter the labyrinth leader. Maya replied, "I don't understand, but as long as you do, that's enough." Asahi confidently explained how to navigate the dungeon mazes using the left-hand rule. Place your left hand on the wall, and keep walking, and you'll reach the end. However, when he was explaining, Asahi accidentally triggered a trap and fell. He also activated another trap that caused Maya to fall into a pit full of spikes. But with her strength, Maya managed to save herself. They continued their journey, with Asahi holding Maya's hand. Suddenly, Maya sensed someone's presence. It turned out there were two skeletons guarding the dungeon mazes. When Maya was about to use her power, Asahi stopped her because her power could destroy the place. At that moment, Asahi felt confident and picked up a stone from the ground, throwing it at the skeletons using his ability. However, the skeletons easily knocked the stone back as if they were playing ball. Maya then destroyed the skeletons with her power. They reached the deepest part of the dungeon mazes, where the leader was supposed to be, but they only found 3 bear cubs. Asahi realized that the bear cubs were the offspring of the bear emperor, who had been defeated by Kana. Asahi said he couldn't open the place because he didn't want other adventurers to come and kill the bear cubs. Maya asked, "What do you think?" Asahi replied, "We'll say that this dungeon maze is unstable and could collapse at any time. Then we'll go home." They left, and Asahi said he was hungry and wanted to go home. Upon hearing this, Maya ran home quickly, leaving Asahi behind. At that moment, a few monsters appeared, and Asahi immediately ran away. After arriving in town, an exhausted Asahi met a girl who asked him for directions. The girl asked if Asahi could accompany her, but Asahi sensed danger and said, "Are you trying to kill me?" while drawing his sword. The girl only laughed. "If you understand." "Yes, Asahi, we know that the girl is actually Maria, but she used magic to disguise herself, appearing as an ordinary girl." She told Asahi that she only wanted to observe how humans lived, so she disguised herself and asked Asahi to show her around the city. Asahi thought that escorting one of the demon warriors around the city might be considered treason. But Maria said that when she saw Asahi and his sister, she became curious about how humans live. Eventually, Asahi agreed, and they walked through the streets. Along the way, Maria was amazed by everything, from houses and animals to bridges, and she said, "How unfortunate, humans can't fly. It must be exhausting." Later, they sat down and talked. Maria asked Asahi, "Don't you want to become a demon? How about leaving Maya and joining me? You have great power." However, Asahi replied that he couldn't leave Maya because she was his family. After that, they went to the guild, and Maria accompanied Asahi, clinging to him. Meanwhile, Maya seemed annoyed because she liked Asahi. They finished their tasks and went to a restaurant for a meal. Asahi spent all his money on food, and when they left, Soma appeared and said, "It looks like you're on a date." When he shook hands with Maria, he felt scared, but eventually they went home. Maria asked Asahi to take her to his house, and when they arrived, Maria said, "Let's play a prank on Maya, she won't recognize me." When they entered, Maria pretended to be Asahi's girlfriend and told Maya that they had just come back from a date. Maya didn't give her a chance, immediately hitting her with a broom and asking what Maria wanted. Maya quickly recognized Maria by her aura and asked Asahi, "Did you really just have dinner with Maria?" Asahi replied that he had already eaten with Maria, so he couldn't eat again. However, Maria used magic to make Asahi hungry again and said, "Let's eat." Maya angrily said, "Where are you going? There's no food for you here, go away." But Asahi asked Maya to let Maria eat with them. When Maria tasted Maya's cooking, she loved it and praised Maya, saying she was very skilled in the kitchen. They then started arguing because Maria wanted to come every day to eat. Maria said, "What's wrong with making an extra portion for me? I'm just a beggar who wants to live." The next day, Asahi was seen fighting a demon and managed to defeat it. As usual, Maya was watching him from a distance, but this time the demon's mother arrived to seek revenge, and Maya quickly saved Asahi. Afterward, she chased after Asahi and tried to hug him, but Asahi dodged and said, "I'm not a child." Asahi used his speed to run away, but suddenly he found himself in a different place and met 3 members of a tribe crossing the road. One of them shouted at Asahi to move quickly, and Asahi accidentally bumped into a girl, causing her to fall. It turned out that the girl was a healer named Sophie, and she immediately tended to Asahi's wounds. After that, she returned to her group, who treated her poorly. Asahi told Maya that healers have very important healing powers in battle, even though their attack abilities are limited. Maya scoffed. "Oh, so they're just like walking medicine bottles on the earth." Asahi advised Maya to treat people better, and then they went to the guild again. At the guild, Maya told Asahi that there was a new discovery of a gold and silver cave, but all the adventurers who went there returned because there was a powerful monster. Asahi recalled that Sophie might be with them. Inside the cave, Sophie fled, screaming that everyone had been eaten. Just as she was about to be devoured by a plant monster, Asahi arrived just in time to save her, and Maya came to defeat all the monsters. Afterward, Sophie regained consciousness and thanked Asahi for saving her. Sophie then asked to join Asahi's group, saying that since she was a child, her mother had told her that she must help the hero who would save the world, and she believed Asahi was that hero. Asahi thought having a healer in his group was a good thing, but he said he would ask the opinion of the other member, which he meant Maya. Sophie then ran to greet Maya and referred to her as the hero's sister, but Maya simply said, "As long as you consider my brother a hero, you're welcome here." Not long after, a black-clad force appeared, looking for Sophie because she was their runaway healer. Sophie called them weak and said she had made the wrong choice by siding with them. When the black-clad force challenged Asahi to a fight, Sophie encouraged Asahi to fight and show his prowess, but Asahi was afraid that if he lost, he would look weak. However, once again, Maya came to the rescue by throwing a smoke bomb, making it impossible for anyone to see. Maya then attacked the black-clad force and defeated them. Sophie once again called Asahi a great hero, and everything ended safely. You don't find the hero or his sister, and we see Asahi and Maya standing in front of a restaurant door. Maya asks, "Why are you looking for Sophie?" Asahi replies, "I want her to be an ally, but it seems like she's the type to cause trouble, not what I expected." After that, Asahi went to the guild and saw Tanya, who was upset because the black-clad party said, "We didn't ask for help." Tanya said, "I should have just let them die." Then she handed out tasks, but Asahi asked for an easy one because he likes to practice a lot. He was given the task of collecting honey from killer bees, but Asahi struggled to do it alone. Tanya said, "Right, you need a healer because those bees have deadly poison." Before she could continue speaking, Sophie appeared and said, "Let me handle this, hero." Tanya said, "Oh, so you already have a healer. Just take the task." The task began immediately, and Asahi kept fighting the bees. Every time he was poisoned, Sophie healed him, but she said, "Your fighting style is simple. You're actually stronger than this, aren't you?" Asahi thought and said, "This isn't a hunting task. If it were, I would have killed them all at once." With butterflies flying around her, Sophie said, "I know that, I believe in you." Then Sophie said, "Wait here for a moment," and left. She returned with a swarm of bees and the queen bee behind her, and said, "I thought I'd gather them all so you can kill them at once." Asahi ran alongside her and said, "What are you doing? I can't show my true strength." Sophie fell while running, and when Asahi saw her, he went back and couldn't leave her behind. He drew his sword, and just as the queen bee was about to attack, a large piece of earth suddenly fell, killing all the bees. Sophie said, "Wow, you have earth magic too. Thanks for saving me." Asahi replied, "Yeah, of course, earth magic. You know I'm really strong." After that, they gathered all the honey and Sophie said, "I'll take it to the guild, you just rest." After Sophie left, Asahi went to look for where the stone had fallen from. Then Maya and Maria appeared. As usual, they showed up by chance, and they were on their way to destroy several mountains. That explained where the rock came from. Maya said, "Let's head home together." Maria added, "Yes, let's go, so you can make my favorite meat. This girl always has a big appetite." Afterward, we see Tanya, who finished her work and was heading home. She saw Sophie standing in front of the guild with a gift for Asahi, as Sophie didn't have a home and didn't know where Asahi lived. The next morning, we see Tanya going to work and meeting Asahi, who hadn't been able to sleep because of nightmares about the bees. She went with him to the guild and found that Sophie had been waiting for him all night. Their village was attacked by demons, and we see monsters searching for humans to kill, burning down the village. Maya arrived and used fire on one of the monsters, killing it. The other monsters fled in fear, leaving behind a few small ones. Asahi said, "I'll take care of them," but the monsters began dancing as if pleading not to be killed. Asahi was affected by their dance, as though losing consciousness, but the monsters posed no threat. Then, a giant orc appeared, and Asahi tried to play the hero by throwing a rock at it. Of course, we all know how bad his throwing skills are. The rock didn't hit the monster, not even traveling a meter, and the monster mocked him. Maya then stepped forward and said to the monster, "How dare you mock my brother?" And she finished the monster off with her fire skills. Poor Asahi cried, feeling like a coward and weak, unable to protect Maya. Maya said, "As your sister, I see you as someone who cares about others' feelings when they're in trouble. Soon, you'll become someone strong and brave." Suddenly, a rock fell from the sky and hit Asahi, snapping him out of his thoughts about the monsters. After that, they went home, and Asahi headed to the guild. Strangely, Tania had the day off, and her friend said she was on a date. Asahi left, saying, "Does that mean she has a boyfriend? Why am I jealous?" Then he met Tania, who said, "Oh, what a coincidence." It turned out the date they were talking about was with her little brother. Once he realized it was Asahi, her brother said, "You're the hero my sister talks about every day. She says you're amazing." Tania quickly covered her brother's mouth before he could say anything else. Asahi asked where they were going, and Tania said she needed to run an errand in a nearby village and needed someone to accompany her. Her brother said, "Why don't you take Asahi along?" Tania's eyes lit up when she heard that, and she said, "Yes, of course. His presence is like having 100 people with me." Asahi wanted to run away, thinking that if they encountered monsters along the way, they would find out everything. That he was weak and he'd be embarrassed. However, he agreed because Tania's brother was still young. On the journey, Tania was very happy, and Asahi said, "There won't be any strong monsters appearing here. Nothing will ruin my image in front of them." They continued talking until suddenly the carriage stopped, and a dragon appeared, throwing a fireball at them. Even the carriage fled. Asahi thought about running, but he heard Roy, Tania's brother, say to his sister, "I'm scared." He cried, and the others told him, "Don't worry, Asahi is really strong, and I'll take care of this." She attacked the dragon even though she had no chance of winning, and the dragon opened its mouth to release a fireball. At that moment, Asahi thought quickly and threw a rock. The dragon swallowed the rock, which then exploded, destroying it. The others said, "You're really strong." The people around felt lucky, while her brother felt sad and said he felt weak and unable to do anything. Asahi felt the same because he had experienced it before. He said, "I was once a little kid like you, always crying and relying on my older brother for everything. The most important thing is that you work hard so that one day you can protect him." The others thanked him for everything, and they all decided to walk since their car had run off. Asahi hoped no other monsters would appear, so he wouldn't have to face the same situation again. At the same time, we see the dragon from earlier rise again, ready to breathe fire. Suddenly, water appears and delivers a final blow to the dragon. His younger brother said, "Now that I'm grown up, we should celebrate today." The next day, we see Asahi walking with Maya, talking as usual about who is stronger. We also learn that Asahi had reached a higher level and gained a new skill, the light skill, which he claimed to be one of the purest and most powerful energies. Suddenly, a raging bull appeared, destroying the road. Asahi told them, "Let me test my ability on that bull." As the bull approached, Asahi used his light skill. However, it turned out to be just an ordinary light, completely useless, and he walked away crying. His friend said, "How long will you keep sulking?" Meyer added, "Yeah, creating light isn't easy." They all laughed and continued their journey to their mission site, where they were set to face a bandit clan called the Dark Crisis. When they arrived, members of the clan appeared and threatened Asahi, "Leave before we defeat you." However, Meyer and their friends quickly defeated them with a combined attack. Asahi said to them, "Wait, we need to understand our goal first." He recalled their mission, to stop these criminals from forging adventurers' badges and selling them. Asahi said, "What? Forging badges? I'll finish them all." But while he was still talking, Meyer and the others had already completed the mission. Then, the clan leader appeared, who turned out to be an orc. Asahi tried to convince him to help the people, but the orc didn't listen and instead attacked him. At the same time, Sophie, who usually brings trouble, appeared with a group of people wanting to watch Asahi's fight. Asahi said, "Oh, so I have to defeat him now." The clan leader attacked with lightning power, but Asahi managed to dodge it, even though he didn't know how. Maya then used her magic to destroy the leader's sword, giving Asahi a chance to defeat him. The people were happy and amazed by Asahi. His friends said, "If all criminals were like this, I wouldn't mind defeating other clans." At that moment, we see another criminal clan called Overdose, who were working with a party. A girl used lightning power to defeat them until their leader appeared. A girl named Gloria from the party defeated the clan leader with a single punch, while the rest of the clan members fled. Gloria then asked the girl who dealt with the other clan, and she replied that it was Asahi. Gloria said, "Oh, the wonder kid whose rank is rising faster than mine. I'm suspicious of him. The only way to test his abilities is if my sword meets his in a fight." After that, we see the villagers thanking Asahi for saving them, offering him food, and Asahi said, "All this praise should go to Maya, not me." The villagers explained that their village was often targeted by monster attacks, and they needed Asahi to protect them. Just then, monsters appeared, and the villagers began to plead, "Save us, Asahi." Asahi felt unsure of what to do, especially since Maya wasn't there. Asahi stepped outside and saw a giant orc, which turned out to be the brother of the orc Maya had defeated before. The orc wanted revenge and attacked Asahi, who tried to block the attack but was thrown far away. Asahi realized the massive difference in power, but he knew he had to protect the villagers. At that moment, a servant who was with Gloria appeared and killed all the monsters. Gloria said, "This is the perfect chance to test Asahi's abilities," though Asahi didn't know who they were. With her power, Gloria destroyed the giant orc and then said to Asahi, "I've heard many rumors about you, but it seems they're all lies. You ranked high by cheating, but you're actually as weak as a rabbit." Asahi felt exposed, but a little girl from the village threw a stone at Gloria and said, "That's not true. Asahi is a very strong hero." Gloria responded, "I will show everyone the truth about you." Asahi gripped his sword, but suddenly the servant protected Gloria and the ground. Could it be that he's hiding his power? Gloria then challenged him to a duel in front of everyone to expose him. From afar, we see Maya, who had previously helped Asahi, and she said, "A duel. What should we do now?" A few days later, the day of the duel arrived, and we see Asahi sitting, thinking about what he would do. Sophie and Tania said to him, who could challenge the champion. All of this put great pressure on him. Maya told him, Gloria comes from a noble family, and her sword is from the Jung class, one rank below dragon. She judges the skills of adventurers. Asahi replied, "Wow, am I still lacking? If she catches me, she'll probably fry me like a potato." Maya reassured him, "I'll help you from afar, as usual." When the match began, the arena was filled with spectators. Gloria said to him, "Finally, I will reveal your truth to everyone." Maya and Maria watched from a distance, but the servant also stood with them, making cheating difficult. Gloria attacked Asahi, who barely dodged the attack and said, "Where's your support, Maya?" He continued to evade the attacks and needed to find her weakness. Then, he remembered that Gloria mistook Maya's last attack as his own, so he became more cautious. If he could exploit this gap, he could defeat her. Gloria attacked from above, and at the perfect moment, Asahi used the flash ability, blinding Gloria. She dropped her weapon, and Asahi raised his sword, signaling the end of the duel. Asahi won, and the crowd cheered. Gloria said to him, "You beat me without attacking." "Why?" Asahi didn't know what to say, so he responded, "Because I can't raise my sword against a girl." At that moment, hearts and butterflies surrounded Gloria, and she ran off, saying, "I'll meet you again." Days passed, and we see Maya and Asahi setting off on a mission, leaving Maria alone at home. Honestly, it wasn't a good idea to leave a demon alone at home. They went to gather golden flowers in a place called Tilks, when suddenly they heard Sophie's voice, a voice that always brought trouble. She called out to them, asking to join, and said she had the ability to find anything, making the mission easier. While showing the way, she called for help from Soul Jan, but she dropped it. Then she said, "Let's go this way." Asahi replied, "You're talking like you're just relying on luck." When they arrived at Twill, they found the path split into two. Sophie suggested they split up, and she and Asahi would search together. Asahi said to Maya, "Please take her with you. If I go with her, problems will definitely arise. I'm not comfortable with her." Maya agreed, and on the way, Asahi encountered a group of goblins. Every time he attacked one, an explosion wiped them out. It turned out to be Maria, who was walking around the area. Asahi said, "That's why Maya agreed to leave me alone, because she sensed Maria's presence." Maria said, "Remember the first time I saved you? We were in the bird forest, and at that time, I only cared about fighting. But everything changed after meeting you and Maya." Suddenly, they heard the sound of people being exploited by a monster, and Asahi ran toward it. But when he arrived, everyone was already dead, killed by a monster jealous of human souls. Asahi attacked it, but the monster summoned skeletal warriors. Asahi defeated them, but the monster almost took his life. At the right moment, Maria arrived and attacked the monster. The monster recognized him and said, "Impossible." One of the Demon King's generals. It also mentioned that it served one of the 6 generals, and its name was the sorcerer Malphai. Asahi said to it, "Do you think human souls are toys?" Malphai replied, "Of course, they are toys." Then it said to Maria, "I didn't expect to meet you here. Your power and mine could conquer the capital of the kingdom. Come, let's destroy the humans." Asahi replied, "Silence. Don't talk like that about Maria. She is kind and has saved me many times. No matter what she does, she remains good." Maria herself was surprised to hear his words. Malphai said, "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard." Maria defeated it with a powerful fire attack and said, "Don't talk like that about Asahi." All the souls the monster had taken were returned, and they continued their journey. They met Maya and Sophie, and Asahi asked if they had gathered anything. Sophie showed a golden flower and said that they had just been walking around and found it easily. Asahi almost cried because they had found it so effortlessly, while he had been battling a soul harvester. After that, we see Gloria in her palace. A servant was waking her up, but Gloria was dreaming and didn't want to get up. The servant jumped on the bed to wake her. Afterward, she put on her clothes and said, "It's time to carry out my plan, and I'll handle this attack alone." We are left waiting for what comes next, while Asahi, confused, asked, "What just happened?" Tania said, "You've defeated the soul harvester Malphai. Soon, your rank will rise, and we should celebrate when you're promoted." Gloria, watching from the window, was very upset. When Asahi stepped outside, he saw Gloria hiding. She said, "What a coincidence to meet on this lonely road." Asahi responded, "I saw you from your hair while you were waiting for me. Don't pretend." Gloria said, "No, you're just imagining things. I'm honored you still remember me." Asahi answered, "Of course, I'll always remember you for your unique personality." Hearing this, Gloria smiled happily. "She's here and can't think about anything else." She said, "That boy is really great, incredible," and quickly called her servant, saying, "I can't stand in front of him, the boy is handsome." Then the boy asked, "Why did you come here?" And the servant replied, "Gloria wanted to see you again." Gloria immediately covered her mouth and said, "You fool, why did you reveal my plan?" But the boy said, "I understand everything." Gloria then thought, "Does he truly understand my feelings?" But in reality, he felt nothing and instead surprised everyone with his obliviousness, then said, "You're still doubting I faked my power, aren't you?" Gloria couldn't believe it and said, "Yes, that's exactly the problem." Thus, she would accompany us on today's mission, and this time it would definitely be discovered. They went to a place called the War Forest, which had previously reported the disappearance of adventurers. Their mission was to investigate this issue. The servant asked, "What exactly is your plan? Didn't you say you were going to invite him for tea?" Gloria replied, "You fool. Can't you see this as a picnic in the woods? This is a date." The servant said, "Why did you choose this dangerous place? Anyway, you should show your sweet side to make him interested in you. Maybe you two could hold hands so you don't get lost in the forest." Gloria, though hesitant, eventually held the boy's hand. Poor Asahi's hand was almost crushed by Gloria's strength. Gloria said to the servant, "This isn't working, master. Try something else." The servant replied, "Pretend to be scared and hug him." Gloria tried, but instead, the boy's ribs were nearly broken. The servant said, "There's no hope for you. Just leave the boy alone." As they continued their journey, Asahi spoke with the servant and said, "It must be tough, protecting Gloria every day." The servant replied, "You're not much different. I've known about both of you since that battle." The two of them chatted casually, while Gloria felt jealous and thought, "They're talking, and I'm just like a piece of corn here." They finally reached a place where vision became difficult, and Asahi used his light ability. As the light spread, they saw the corpses of adventurers bound by plants. Suddenly, there was an earthquake, and they realized the monster was a giant tree. The tree attacked them, but Gloria easily uprooted it and destroyed it with her strength. After that, Asahi said his goodbyes. Gloria felt disappointed that their date didn't go well. The servant said, "Don't worry, today will still remain in Asahi's memory. He won't forget it." The next day, Asahi woke up and found a servant in his room. The servant said, "I need your help." Then, we see Asahi at Gloria's house, carrying boxes. It turns out Gloria wanted to leave the castle and pack her things, but the head servant stopped her. Gloria said, "No one can stop me here." The head servant replied, "Your father is worried about you and wants you to cut down on your adventures and act more like a princess from a noble family." Gloria responded, I'm sick of nobles and your tea parties. They then left in a carriage. During the journey, Gloria felt embarrassed because Asahi had seen her family issues. She said, my father is too protective. He doesn't believe I can live on my own. They finally arrived at a large castle, and Asahi was shocked, almost crying. He said, I'm not jealous of you, but what is all this? You're going to live here alone. How lucky you are. They entered and began unloading the items they had brought. We then see the head servant talking to someone, saying, that kid must be lying to the young lady. It turns out the person next to him was a dragon-ranked adventurer named Tega. He looked very strong, and his mission was to bring Gloria back home and make Asahi suffer. At that moment, Maya appeared, and as soon as Tega sensed her aura, he fled along with the head servant. Back at the castle, Gloria invited Asahi for tea again. Asahi, who had already had too much tea, said, enough, you're too kind. When the servant appeared, Gloria asked, where were you? I couldn't do anything but make tea. The servant replied, you couldn't find any topics for conversation. Gloria said, that never crossed my mind. The servant almost suggested inviting Asahi more often by forming a clan so they could use the castle as their headquarters. Asahi, feeling confused, only needed some stomach medicine from drinking too much tea. The next day, Asahi went to meet someone at a restaurant and asked how to form a clan. The person asked, what name will you choose? That's important for the registration. As they walked, Sophie overheard and rushed over to Asahi, saying, I heard everything. Sign me up for your clan right now. Asahi, shocked, replied, why are you in such a hurry? I haven't even picked a name yet. Sophie said she had been training hard and would be useful. She showed her status, which was level 27, even higher than Asahi's. At that moment, the other person with them asked Asahi about his status and asked him to show it too. Asahi pretended to be polite and said, strength isn't everything. Suddenly, Sophie and Thania transformed into butterflies in front of everyone, and at the same time, Gloria happened to pass by, on her way to greet Asahi. However, she saw Sophie and Thania, got confused, and ran away. When I spoke with Asahi, I said, think carefully about the clan because Gloria needs allies or friends. Asahi replied, you're her best friend and strongest ally. The girl blushed and asked, will you become another friend for her? Then she left. That night, we see Asahi at home with Maya cooking. Asahi thought about who to invite into the clan, and the candidates were Maya, Sophie, Gloria, Kun, and Maria, even though she was a demon. He thought, the whole clan will be strong, except for me, and that increases the chance I might get exposed. Then Maya explained the concept of a clan and his fear of being the weakest. However, Maya said that strength wasn't everything, and Asahi's courage in saving many people had an impact on her. A few days later, after the clan was formed, they gathered at home and said, who would have thought that on our first mission, Asahi would get injured and turn to stone because of a basil monster? We learned that this giant monster could turn anyone who looked into its eyes into stone. Asahi was hit by the spell, and they had no cure. Everyone searched for something to save him, but no one found anything. At that moment, Maria cast a magic spell and successfully broke the stone spell on Asahi. She said, so, are you going to give me a reward so I can buy apple juice? A few days later, we see a married couple at sea being attacked by strange sharks. Thania told Asahi about the mission to capture the sharks. Asahi said, sure, this is an easy mission for the mighty Asahi clan. That was the name they chose for their clan. However, Maya felt that the two of them should go alone. When they arrived at the sea, it turned out that not only Asahi and Maya were there, but Thania, Sophie, Gloria, and Kun also came because they didn't want to leave Asahi alone. Gloria said, today I'm going to make our relationship more romantic. Kun said, I have two pieces of news, one bad and one good. Asahi asked, what's the bad news? Kun replied, I've already caught all the sharks and completed the mission. The good news is we can have fun at the beach. They were all playing in the sea when suddenly more sharks appeared for revenge. Everyone faced a shark, but there was one last shark that attacked Maya. Asahi ran to save her and took the hit. He was thrown into the sea and swept away by the current. Maya chased after him and caught him. When Asahi regained consciousness, he found himself on a deserted island with Maya. The island was unknown. Maya said, Maria will definitely sense our presence and find us. At that moment, Asahi decided that they should search for food and water. During their journey, they found a river and drank from it. Maya chopped down trees to make a fire, and Asahi caught fish for them to eat. They built a small house and greatly enjoyed their time together. They sat on the beach, but suddenly another shark appeared, and this time it was the leader of the sharks. All the team members arrived, but the shark leader called for all the sharks to merge into a giant monster. Asahi was terrified. Maya went in alone with her superpowers and launched a powerful attack that almost destroyed the entire island. That day finally ended, and the next day was filled with heavy rain for no apparent reason. After the rain stopped, Asahi, Maya, and Maria went outside, only to find that the entire town had been flooded. When Asahi stepped onto the ground, he was attacked by slime that covered the city. As he fled, he found Thania, who told him that she had been researching ancient royal books and discovered that a similar incident had happened before, called the Great Slime Flood. It was said that these slimes grew by absorbing water, and the flood was caused by the rain. There must be someone behind all this. Thania said that her brother, Roy, went out to play in the morning and hadn't returned. Asahi said, "Don't worry, I'll bring him back and save the whole city." Maya said, "I'll use my lightning powers and destroy all the slimes." Asahi replied, "You want to electrocute the entire town." Maria said, "I have a solution, I'll burn all the slimes with fire." Asahi responded, "Great, you'll burn down the entire city too." He told them, "Don't do anything, stay on alert until this issue dies down." Meanwhile, Thania and the townspeople were trying to reach a place that hadn't been destroyed. However, a mysterious figure opened a gate and released monsters to attack the people. At the right moment, Fred and Bonky protected them. Time passed, and the situation worsened. The monster gates continued to open, and we saw a girl happily controlling everything. We also saw Roy, Thania's brother, along with a female friend, trying to escape from the monsters. When Asahi found them, he said, "Let's find higher ground." On the way, they were attacked by 2 giant slime monsters. This time, the person who saved Asahi was the drunken man from the beginning of the story, and he wasn't alone. Even the Dragon Barrier Sky team arrived. He told Lessa to escape and take the children to safety, which was the cathedral, while the townspeople fled to Gloria's house, as it was the only high place far from destruction. At the cathedral, we saw Sophie, who continued to care for everyone despite her energy running low, but she was determined to take care of them. When she saw Asahi, she nearly fainted, but she continued to tend to the little girl, even taking care of the Black Army that had treated her poorly in the past. Then, we saw Thania arrive at Gloria's house, but she found it locked, and there were many monster gates. Everyone fought with all their might, and we saw the girl behind it all. Maya and Maria confronted her, and we saw Gloria say, "Open the gate for the people." However, the butler refused, fearing the chaos that could unfold inside the palace. Eventually, he agreed with Gloria that protecting the people was their duty, so they let the people into shelter inside. Gloria went out to help Asahi, and we returned to the girl who planned everything, who said, "Who would have thought I'd see a demon?" Here, Maria said, "No, and you also betrayed the Demon King. Join this chaos, it's better for you." However, Maya responded instead of Maria and said, "We refuse." The girl became very angry and asked, "Why are you answering for her?" She then unleashed a tremendous power. We saw Asahi looking for the slime core to destroy it and save the town from the flood. Gloria arrived to help him, and Kyuan used her eagle eye skill to locate the core. Later, we saw that Maria was unharmed by the attack, and she countered with fire, successfully defeating the girl. Maya used a new skill to end the fight. We saw Asahi trying to reach the core, but it was too high, so he asked Gloria to throw him up. Asahi used the stone throw skill, destroying the core and making all the slimes disappear. Before he fell, Maya saved him and said, "Well done, brother." Everything was finally alright after the town was saved by Asahi's incredible group. However, there remained a strange mystery: what had happened to the girl controlling the water elements.